The $3,000 Louboutin heel hit Amara's ribs before she even saw it coming. She crashed into the designer display stand, Christmas ornaments shattering around her as she hit the ground, her dress tearing, her elbow splitting open against the metal edge. For a moment, the entire Gangnam luxury mall went silent. Amara looked up from the floor, blood trickling down her arm, at the man standing over her with contempt twisting his features. Marcus. Her ex-fiancé. The man who'd stolen everything from her 3 years ago. Stay down where you belong, you worthless, Marcus snarled. He had no idea who she was anymore. No idea that the poor, abandoned ex, he remembered, the one who'd begged him not to leave, who'd cried in her car with $17 to her name, who'd lost their baby from starvation and stress, was gone. No idea that she'd risen from those ashes. No idea about the diamond wedding ring hidden under her glove, the penthouse in Gangnam she'd left that morning, or the black card in her purse that had no limit. And Marcus definitely had no idea about the man whose name was now legally attached to hers. The man whose security team was currently holding him down. The man whose phone was ringing in her purse right now. Kang Min-jun. Her husband. Seoul's most dangerous underground king. As Amara's trembling fingers accepted the call and Min-jun's deadly calm voice asked, "Are you hurt?" she watched realization start to creep across Marcus's face. He just kicked the wrong woman. And in approximately 8 minutes, when Min-jun's motorcade screeched into this mall's parking garage, Marcus Wellington was going to learn a lesson about consequences that would destroy his entire world. But he still didn't know it yet. Right now, in this moment, he still thought she was nothing. That was about to change. Before we dive deeper into this story of love, revenge, and redemption, I want to wish you all a blessed and magical Christmas season. May your holidays be filled with love, joy, and beautiful moments with those who matter most. Now do me a favor by subscribing to the channel now and turn on notifications, your support means the world to me. Now, let's get into this dramatic journey. Amara stood in their massive walk-in closet, selecting a simple black dress. Despite the luxury surrounding her, designer labels hanging like colorful soldiers in formation, she still gravitated toward understated elegance. Old habits from harder times. "You're doing it again," Min-jun said from the doorway, already dressed in a 3-piece suit that probably cost more than her first car. He was devastatingly handsome, his dark hair styled back, his presence commanding even in domestic settings. "Doing what?" She turned, clipping on pearl earrings. "Choosing the least expensive things in your closet." He crossed to her, sliding his hands around her waist. "You're married to one of the wealthiest men in Seoul. Stop shopping in your closet like you're on a budget." She laughed, the sound light. "I like simple things. I like spoiling you." He kissed her neck. "Humor me. You humor me by loving me exactly as I am." His expression softened in that way it only did for her. "Always." Then, more seriously, "You're going to the Gangnam Mall today?" "Just some Christmas shopping." "I won't be long." Something flickered in his eyes. Min-jun was protective to the point of obsession, a fact she both loved and occasionally found suffocating. "Take Jin-woo and Taeyong with you." "Baby, I don't need bodyguards to go shopping." His jaw tightened. "Amara, you know what I am. What I do. You know the enemies that creates. You don't leave this house without security. Non-negotiable." The steel in his voice was absolute. This was Kang Min-jun, underground king of Seoul, speaking. Not just her husband. She cupped his face. "Okay. I'll take them." The tension left his shoulders. "Thank you." He checked his watch, solid platinum, simple but obscenely expensive. "I have a meeting. I'll be home by 7. We have dinner reservations at 8. "Where?" "It's a surprise." That dangerous smile again. "Wear the red dress. The one I can't stop thinking about removing." Heat flooded her cheeks even as she smiled. You're insatiable. Only for you. One more kiss, deep and thorough, before he left her breathless in their closet. 2 hours later, Amara walked through the Gangnam luxury mall with Jin-woo and Taeyong maintaining a discreet distance. The mall was a cathedral of wealth, marble floors reflecting crystal chandeliers, every store a monument to excess. Christmas decorations sparkled everywhere, gold and silver, elegant and expensive. She just exited a boutique, bags in hand, when she saw him. Marcus. Her ex-fiancé. The man who'd left her homeless and pregnant. The man who'd stolen her savings and disappeared. The father of the baby she'd lost from stress and malnutrition 2 weeks after he abandoned her. He was leaning against a Louis Vuitton display, laughing with a woman dripping in designer labels. He looked exactly the same. Same cocky smile, same expensive taste funded by other people's money, same entitled swagger. Amara's hands trembled. The bags nearly slipped from her grip. 3 years. She'd thought she was over this. Thought she'd healed. But seeing him brought everything back. The pain. The betrayal. The nights crying in her car. The morning she woke in a pool of blood, losing the baby alone. She should walk away. Turn around. Leave. But her feet were rooted to the marble floor. Marcus looked up. Their eyes met. For a moment, nothing. Then recognition flashed across his face, followed by shock, then something uglier. Contempt. He whispered something to the woman, then started walking toward Amara. Every instinct screamed at her to run. But she was frozen. Well, Marcus drawled as he approached, that familiar condescending tone making her skin crawl. Amara. Didn't expect to see you here. Thought you'd be at the thrift stores where you belong. She found her voice. Marcus. I have nothing to say to you. What's wrong? Still bitter. He looked her up and down, his expression mocking. Though I see you've cleaned up a bit. Found some desperate man to pay your bills. That's always been your talent, hasn't it? Playing victim until some fool takes pity on you. The words hit like physical blows. Jin-woo and Taeyong were moving closer, sensing trouble. You left me with nothing, Amara said quietly, hating how her voice shook. You stole everything from me. Marcus laughed, loud enough to draw attention. Stole. Baby, I liberated myself from a parasite. Best decision I ever made. You were always so needy, so pathetic. Expecting me to take care of you like you couldn't handle your own life. I was pregnant. With your child. Was I supposed to care? His eyes were cold. I told you from the beginning I didn't want kids. You probably got pregnant on purpose, trying to trap me. Thank God I got out when I did. Amara's vision blurred with tears she refused to let fall. The woman Marcus had been with approached, linking her arm through his possessively. Is this her? The woman asked, looking Amara up and down with barely concealed disgust. The ex you told me about? The one who stalked you? Stalked? Amara's voice rose. I never. Don't make a scene, Marcus cut her off. You're embarrassing yourself. As usual. He turned to leave, dismissing her completely. Something in Amara snapped. 3 years of pain, of rebuilding herself from nothing, of nights wondering why she hadn't been enough. You destroyed me, she said, her voice breaking. I lost everything because of you. Our baby died because. Marcus spun back, his face twisted with rage. Don't you dare try to guilt me with that lie. It's not a lie. I lost our baby because I was starving and homeless and. Shut up. He moved toward her aggressively. Jin-woo stepped between them instantly, his hand inside his jacket where Amara knew he kept his gun. Taeyong had his phone out, likely calling Min-jun. Marcus barely glanced at them. What, you hired some Asian muscle to make you feel important? How much are you paying these guys to pretend you matter? Sir, step back, Jin Woo said in heavily accented English, his voice deadly calm. Or what? Marcus pushed forward. It happened so fast. Marcus shoved Jin Woo, trying to get to Amara. In the scuffle, his hand connected with Amara's shoulder, hard enough to send her stumbling backward. She hit a display stand, crying out as she fell, merchandise scattering, her bags flying. The mall went silent. Amara looked up from the floor, her elbow bleeding where it had hit the metal stand, her dress torn at the shoulder. Marcus stood over her, his face red with rage. Stay down where you belong, you worthless. He didn't finish the sentence. Jin Woo had him on the ground in 2 seconds, arm twisted behind his back. Taeyong was helping Amara up, his face pale with fear. Not for himself, but for what was coming. Because Min Jun was going to lose his mind. Ma'am, are you hurt? Taeyong asked in Korean, then English. We need to get you home. I'm fine, Amara whispered, but she wasn't. Her hands shook. Her elbow throbbed. But worse was the emotional wound ripped open, bleeding all over her carefully reconstructed life. Security guards rushed over. Marcus's girlfriend was screaming. Other shoppers had their phones out, recording. Let me go. Marcus shouted, struggling against Jinwoo's hold. She's crazy. She attacked me. Sir, we have video, one of the security guards said, gesturing to the mall cameras. We saw everything. You assaulted this woman. That bitch was harassing my boyfriend, the girlfriend shrieked. Amara's phone rang. Min Jun's name flashed on the screen. Her hand trembled as she answered. Hello. Are you hurt? His voice was eerily calm, which was somehow more terrifying than if he'd been yelling. I'm okay. Just a scratch. Don't lie to me, Amara. Are you hurt? My elbow is bleeding. I fell. But I'm fine, really. Who touched you? She closed her eyes. Min Jun. Who touched you? My ex-fiancé. Marcus. But it's fine, security has him. Put Taeyong on the phone. She handed the phone over with shaking hands. Watched as Taeyang's expression went from nervous to absolutely terrified as he listened to whatever Min Jun was saying. He responded in rapid Korean, too fast for her to follow with her intermediate skills, then handed the phone back. Baby, she said softly. I'm 10 minutes away. His voice was pure ice. Don't let him leave. If security tries to release him, tell them who you are. Use my name. Min Jun, please don't do anything. He put his hands on you. He hurt you. There is no world in which that man walks away without consequences. The line went dead. Amara looked at Jin Woo, still holding Marcus to the ground. At Taeyong, who'd positioned himself protectively beside her. At Marcus's girlfriend, screaming at security. At the crowd of people watching, recording, whispering. And she felt a cold certainty settle in her stomach. Marcus had no idea what he'd just done. If you're enjoying this story so far, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more Afro-Korean romance stories. Drop a comment telling me what you think is about to happen when Min Jun arrives. Now, let's see what happens next. Mall security had separated everyone by the time Min Jun arrived. Amara sat in the security office, an EMT cleaning the scrape on her elbow. Taeyong stood guard at the door. Jin Woo was in a separate room, giving a statement. Marcus and his girlfriend were in yet another room, their angry voices occasionally audible through the walls. Then Min Jun walked in. He'd come straight from whatever meeting he'd been in, still in his suit, but there was nothing civilized about him now. His expression was carved from stone, his eyes absolutely black with fury. 6 of his men followed him, all armed, all wearing the same cold expression. The security guard stood up immediately, recognizing power when they saw it. But Min Jun only had eyes for Amara. He crossed to her in 3 strides, his hands cupping her face with devastating gentleness. "Let me see." "It's just a scratch," she whispered. His eyes traveled over her torn dress, the bandage on her elbow, the tear tracks on her cheeks. When he looked at her again, she saw murder in his eyes. "Who is he?" His voice was barely above a whisper. "Point him out." "Min Jun, please. Let's just go home." "It's not worth." "Not worth it?" His hand trembled against her cheek. "You're bleeding. You're crying. Someone put their hands on you in violence. My wife. My woman. My everything. And you think it's not worth it?" He switched to Korean, speaking to Taeyong in rapid-fire sentences. Taeyong bowed and left quickly. Mr. Kong, one of the security supervisors, approached nervously, clearly recognizing the name. "We have the incident on camera. The man who pushed her is in the next room. We've called the police." "Cancel it," Min Jun said flatly. "Sir. The police won't be necessary. I'll handle this personally." The supervisor paled. "Mr. Kong, we can't just." Min Jun pulled out his phone, made 1 call, spoke 3 sentences in Korean, then hung up. 30 seconds later, the supervisor's radio crackled. He listened, his face going white, then nodded. "Yes, sir. Of course. The police have been notified it was a false alarm." This was Min Jun's soul. His city. His kingdom. Amara watched it all with a strange sense of detachment. This was the man the world feared. The underground king who controlled more of Seoul than most people realized. The man who could make people disappear with a phone call. And he was ready to burn the world down because someone hurt her. "I want to see him," Min Jun said, still looking at Amara. "The man who did this to you. I want you to show me." "Baby, what are you going to do?" He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, the tip of her nose. Gentle kisses at odds with the violence simmering beneath his skin. "I'm going to make sure he never touches you again. That he never even thinks your name without terror. He's not worth it. You are worth everything." He pulled back, his eyes searching hers. "Tell me about him. Tell me why I don't know about an ex-fiancé who clearly hurt you badly enough that you're shaking just from seeing him." She'd never told him the full story. Had given him the basics: abusive ex, hard times, moved to Korea for a fresh start, but not the details. Not the depth of the betrayal. Looking into his eyes now, she knew he needed to know. Deserved to know. "His name is Marcus Wellington," she began quietly. "We were together for 3 years. Engaged for 6 months. I thought he loved me. I worked 2 jobs to support us while he was finding himself and building his business. I paid our rent, our bills, bought his clothes, his car. Everything." Min Jun's jaw clenched, but he stayed silent, listening. "Then I got pregnant. I was so happy, so scared, but happy. I thought he'd be too. I thought we'd build a family." Her voice cracked. "He waited until I was 4 months along. Until I'd bought baby clothes and painted the nursery. Then one day I came home and he was gone. He'd emptied our bank account, my money, taken everything of value, and left me a note saying he couldn't be tied down to a desperate woman and her trapped baby." "Amara," Min Jun's voice was raw. "I lost our apartment. Lost both my jobs because I was too pregnant and too broke to maintain appearances. I lived in my car for 3 weeks. I tried to eat, tried to stay healthy for the baby, but I had nothing. No money, no food, no help. And then one morning I woke up and there was blood everywhere and I knew." She couldn't continue. Min Jun pulled her into his arms, holding her so tightly she could barely breathe. She felt the tension in every muscle, the rage vibrating through him. I lost the baby in a hospital charity ward, she whispered against his chest. Alone. And then I had nothing left. No baby, no money, no future. I wanted to die. But you didn't. His voice was thick with emotion. No. I got angry instead. I spent 2 years rebuilding. Worked my way up. Saved every penny. Applied for a teaching position in Seoul because I wanted to be as far from that life as possible. And then I met you. She pulled back to look at him. You saved me, Min-jun. You gave me a life I never dreamed possible. You loved me when I thought I was unlovable. You made me whole again. His thumbs wiped away her tears. You saved yourself, my love. You were already whole when I found you. I just recognized what everyone else was too blind to see. You're the strongest person I've ever met. I don't feel strong right now. Because he's a ghost from a past that still haunts you. His expression hardened. But ghosts can be exorcised. And I'm very good at making problems disappear. What are you going to do? That dangerous smile. Have a conversation. Man to man. Help him understand the magnitude of his mistake. He stood, buttoning his suit jacket with controlled precision. Stay here. This won't take long. Min-jun. He kissed her, deep and possessive. Trust me. Then he was gone, his men following, and Amara was left with a terrible certainty that Marcus Wellington's life was about to change forever. Through the walls, she heard a door open. Heard Marcus's aggressive voice, about damn time someone with authority showed up. I want that crazy woman arrested for. His voice cut off abruptly. Min-jun's voice, too low to make out words, but the tone was unmistakable. Dangerous. Controlled. Deadly. Then Marcus again, louder, nervous now, who the hell are you? You can't just. A crash. The girlfriend screaming. Security guards shuffling nervously. Amara stood, moving to the door despite Taeyang's protest. She had to see. Through the window of the adjacent room, she watched Min-jun lift Marcus by his throat, one-handed, slamming him against the wall hard enough to crack the plaster. Marcus's feet dangled off the ground, his face turning red as he clawed at Min-jun's grip. My name is Kang Min-jun, her husband said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The woman you put your hands on is my wife. Do you understand what that means? He dropped Marcus, who collapsed, gasping. That means you just signed your own death warrant. Marcus scrambled backward. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know she was married. Married? Min-jun's laugh was cold. You think I'm angry because of a legal document? No. I'm angry because you destroyed the woman I love years before I found her. Because you left her pregnant and homeless. Because you stole from her, abandoned her, caused her to lose a child she desperately wanted. Marcus's face went white. She told you that? She's lying. She. Min-jun kicked him in the ribs. Hard. The sound of bone cracking echoed through the room. Marcus's girlfriend screamed. Security guards looked away. Nobody was going to stop this. Nobody could. Let me explain something to you. Min-jun crouched beside Marcus's writhing form. I own this city in ways you can't comprehend. I control businesses, politicians, police. I have men who would kill for me without question. And that woman in the other room? She's the only thing in this world I value more than my own life. He grabbed Marcus's hair, forcing his head up. So when you pushed her, when you made her bleed, when you made her cry, you set in motion events you cannot stop. Do you understand? Please, Marcus whimpered. I'm sorry. I'll apologize, Your apology means nothing. Your remorse is worthless. Min-jun released him with disgust. But I'm not going to kill you. Death would be too easy. He stood, straightening his suit jacket. Yongi, pull up his information. One of Min Jun's men pulled out a tablet, fingers flying over the screen. Marcus Wellington, age 32. Works at Wellington Investment Firm, his father's company. Current salary $275,000. Trust fund worth approximately $1.2 million. Engaged to Jessica Chang, daughter of Chang Technologies CEO. Min Jun smiled. Interesting. Does daddy know his son is a con artist who preys on vulnerable women? Marcus's eyes widened in terror. No. Please, don't. Does your fiancé know about Amara? About the baby you abandoned? Please. By morning, everyone will know. Min Jun pulled out his phone. Your father will receive documentation of every cent you stole from Amara. Your fiancé will receive a detailed timeline of your relationship with Amara, including medical records from her miscarriage. Your employer, oh wait, that's your father too, will receive testimonies from 3 other women you've conned. Yes, I had you investigated in the last 20 minutes. Modern technology is remarkable. Marcus was sobbing now. You can't do this. You'll ruin my life. Your life. Min Jun's voice dropped to a deadly whisper. You ruined hers. She lost a child. Lived in her car. Starved. Suffered. While you spent her money on whatever meaningless pleasures you desired. So yes, Marcus, I'm going to ruin your life. I'm going to take everything from you. Your job, your family, your fiancé, your reputation, your money. All of it. He leaned down one more time. And every time you lose something, every time you feel desperate and hopeless and worthless, I want you to remember the woman you kicked in a mall today. I want you to remember that your destruction came because you were foolish enough to hurt someone I love. Min Jun straightened, addressing his men in Korean. They nodded, moving efficiently. Wait. Marcus struggled to his feet, clutching his ribs. What are you doing? You can't just. I can do anything I want. Min Jun's smile was pure ice. Welcome to my world. Enjoy your stay. It's going to last the rest of your life. He walked out without looking back, leaving Marcus's pleas echoing behind him. When Min Jun re-entered the room where Amara waited, his expression immediately softened. The monster disappeared, replaced by the man who loved her. Are you ready to go home? He asked gently. She should feel guilty. Should protest. Should tell him what he'd done was too much. But looking at him, remembering everything Marcus had taken from her, everything he'd destroyed. She felt only relief. Yeah, she whispered. Take me home. He gathered her carefully, as if she was made of glass, and carried her out of the mall. Behind them, Marcus's world was already beginning to crumble. And Amara let herself feel something she hadn't allowed herself in 3 years. Vindication. The drive home was silent. Min Jun held her hand the entire time, his thumb tracing circles on her palm, his jaw still tight with residual anger. Amara watched Seoul pass by through tinted windows, the Christmas lights blurring into streams of color. I cancelled our dinner reservation, he said quietly. That's okay. I'll make you something at home. Or we can order in. Whatever you want. I just want to be with you. His hand tightened on hers. You have me. Always. When they arrived at the penthouse, Min Jun dismissed the staff, sent his guards to their posts, and led Amara to their bedroom. He unzipped her torn dress carefully, his fingers gentle on her skin. Shower with me, he asked softly. She nodded. Under the hot water, he washed her hair, his hands massaging her scalp with slow, soothing circles. He cleaned her wounded elbow with careful attention, pressed kisses to her shoulders, her neck, her temple. No urgency, no demand. Just tenderness. I'm sorry, she whispered. He turned her to face him, water streaming between them. For what? For never telling you the full story. For letting him affect me so much. For. Stop. His hands cupped her face. You have nothing to apologize for. Trauma doesn't have an expiration date. Pain doesn't disappear just because we want it to. You survived something devastating, and you're allowed to still carry scars. Tears mixed with shower water. I thought I was over it. Healing isn't linear, my love. It's messy and complicated, and sometimes we take steps backward. But you're not alone anymore. You don't have to carry this by yourself. He kissed her forehead, her cheeks, her lips. I've got you. I'll always have you. They stood there for a long time, just holding each other under the water, until Amara's trembling stopped and her breathing evened out. Later, wrapped in plush robes, they sat on their bedroom balcony overlooking Seoul. Min-jun had ordered her favorite food, Korean fried chicken and tteokbokki from a place in Itaewon, and opened a bottle of expensive wine. Eat, he encouraged, putting choice pieces on her plate. You need your strength. She managed a few bites, more to please him than from actual hunger. What happens now? She asked. With Marcus? Min-jun's expression hardened. By tomorrow morning, his fiancée will have broken off their engagement. By noon, his father will have removed him from the company. By evening, his trust fund will be frozen pending investigation into fraudulent activities. Within a week, he'll be unemployable anywhere in his industry. Within a month, he'll be broke. And the money he stole from me? Already seized from his accounts. You'll have it back, with interest, by Friday. He paused. I also found the other 3 women he conned. They'll receive restitution as well. Amara set down her chopsticks. You did all that in 3 hours. I made some calls. He shrugged as if he'd done nothing more significant than order takeout. I have resources. Min-jun. He took her hand. Do you think it's too much? Do you want me to stop? Did she? Marcus had destroyed her life without a second thought. Had left her to suffer while he moved on to his next victim. She'd rebuilt herself through sheer willpower, but the scars remained. No, she said softly. I don't want you to stop. Satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. Good. Because I wasn't going to. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Amara asked the question that had been bothering her. How do you do it? Control this whole city? You're only 31. Min-jun smiled, that dangerous smile that always made her pulse race. My father built an empire in the shadows. When he died 5 years ago, I inherited everything. But I'm not my father. He ruled through fear alone. I rule through fear and strategy. I give people what they want, protection, money, power, solutions, and in return, they give me loyalty. And if they betray you? Then I remind them why fear is the more powerful motivator. He looked at her seriously. Does it bother you? What I am? What I do? She considered this. When they'd met, she'd known he was wealthy and powerful, but not the extent of it. The truth had revealed itself gradually, the bodyguards, the lavish lifestyle, the way people reacted to his name. By the time she understood the full scope of his empire, she was already in love with him. I won't pretend to love everything about your world, she said honestly. The violence, the danger, the moral gray areas. But I love you. And I know that everything you do, every terrible thing, it's to protect what you've built and the people you care about. You're not one of those women who fell in love with the danger and power, are you? There was vulnerability in his question. You love me despite it, not because of it. I love you for you. She moved from her chair to his lap, wrapping her arms around his neck. The man who brings me coffee in bed every morning. Who learns English rom-com phrases to make me laugh. Who holds me when I have nightmares. Who makes me feel safe and cherished and valued. That's the man I love. He buried his face in her neck. I don't deserve you. We deserve each other. She tilted his face up. We're both survivors, Min-jun. We've both been through hell and came out stronger. That's why this works. We understand each other's scars. He kissed her then, deep and slow, pouring everything he felt into it. When he pulled back, his eyes were dark with emotion and desire. I need you, he whispered. I need to feel you, know you're safe, know you're mine. I'm here. I'm yours. He carried her inside, laid her on their bed with reverent care. Their lovemaking was slow and intense, a reaffirmation of everything they were to each other. Every touch was a promise, every kiss a declaration, every whispered word a vow. And when they finally lay tangled together, breathless and sated, Amara felt the last of the day's trauma release its grip on her heart. I love you, she whispered against his chest. He murmured back. My everything. She fell asleep in his arms, safe and loved, while outside their penthouse, Min-jun's empire worked through the night to dismantle Marcus Wellington's entire existence. We're getting to the intense part now. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our dramatic love stories. Comment below what you think Marcus deserves. And let's continue with this journey. The next morning, Amara woke to Min-jun's phone ringing incessantly. He extracted himself from her arms with a whispered apology, taking the call in Korean as he walked to the balcony. She stretched, feeling the pleasant soreness from last night, and checked her own phone. 53 missed calls. 27 voicemails. Hundreds of text messages. Her stomach dropped. The first text was from her friend Keisha back in the States. Girl, what the fuck? You're married to a mafia boss. And that's your ex getting destroyed on social media. Amara's hands shook as she opened Instagram. The top trending topic in Seoul was hashtag Gangnam Mall incident. Someone had posted the security footage. The entire confrontation. Marcus pushing Jin-woo, knocking her down, standing over her. The video had 17 million views and counting. But that wasn't the worst of it. Someone, probably one of Min-jun's people, had created a thread exposing Marcus's entire history. Bank statements showing the money he'd stolen from her. Medical records from her miscarriage. Testimonies from the other women he'd scammed. His engagement announcement next to a timeline proving he'd started dating Jessica while still taking Amara's money. The internet was eviscerating him. Worse, someone had leaked Min-jun's identity. Photos of them together, their marriage certificate, articles about Kang Min-jun's empire and influence. Oh God, Amara whispered. Min-jun returned, his expression grim. You've seen it. The whole world has seen it. Min-jun, your identity was going to come out eventually. He sat beside her, taking the phone from her trembling hands. I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about how you're handling this. Everyone knows everything. About Marcus, the baby, my past. And they're on your side. He showed her his own phone. Look at the comments. Look at how people are responding. He was right. Thousands of comments poured in, overwhelmingly supportive. That man is trash. She deserves better and clearly found it. A mafia boss husband with revenge on his mind. That's the dream right there. The way he picked her up and carried her out. That's love. Marcus Wellington trending for being exposed as a con artist. Good. Rot in hell, buddy. Amara, if you see this, you're a queen. Hold your head high. The fact that he kicked a pregnant woman he abandoned and then got shocked when her husband ruined his life. The audacity. More texts came through. From former colleagues, friends, even some of Min-jun's business associates offering support. How are you so calm about this? Amara asked. Min-jun shrugged. Because controlling the narrative is part of controlling power. Yes, people now know I'm your husband. They know what I am. But they also know that I protect what's mine with absolute ruthlessness. That's not bad for my reputation, it's reinforcement. His phone rang again. He glanced at the caller ID and smiled coldly. Speaking of which. He answered in Korean, listened for a moment, then switched to English for Amara's benefit. Mr. Wellington. Yes, the senior Mr. Wellington. Thank you for calling. He put it on speaker. Mr. Kong, an older man's voice, tight with fury and fear, came through. I'm calling to discuss my son. There's nothing to discuss. Your son assaulted my wife. Actions have consequences. He made a mistake. A regrettable mistake, certainly, but ruining his entire life. He ruined her life first. I'm simply returning the favor. What do you want? Money? A business deal? Name your price to make this go away. Min Jun's eyes met Amara's. You think I can be bought? Everyone can be bought, Mr. Kong. I've been in business 40 years. I know how this works. Then let me educate you on how my world works. Min Jun's voice went cold. Your son stole from a vulnerable woman. Left her homeless and pregnant. Caused her to lose a child from stress and malnutrition. Then yesterday, he physically assaulted her in public. These are not mistakes, Mr. Wellington. These are patterns of behavior that reveal his character. She probably. Choose your next words very carefully, Min Jun interrupted, his tone deadly. Because if you disparage my wife in any way, I will extend my retribution to include you personally. Silence on the other end. Here's what's going to happen, Min Jun continued. Your son will issue a public apology to my wife and the other women he's conned. He will enter therapy to address his abusive tendencies. He will pay full restitution to all his victims. And he will never, ever come within 100 meters of my wife again. If he does, I'll consider it an act of aggression and respond accordingly. And if he does all this, then I might allow him to rebuild some semblance of a life. Might. I haven't decided yet. This is extortion. No, this is justice. If you want to involve the legal system, please do. I have excellent lawyers and more than enough evidence to have your son imprisoned for fraud, theft, and assault. The choice is yours. Another long silence. Then, defeated, he'll comply. Smart decision. Min Jun ended the call without saying goodbye. Amara stared at him. You're enjoying this. Immensely. He pulled her close. Is that wrong? Probably. But I think I'm enjoying it too. He laughed, the sound genuine and warm. That's my girl. Over the next few days, Amara watched Marcus's world crumble in real time through social media. Jessica Chang broke off their engagement with a scathing Instagram post that went viral. Wellington investment firm released a statement distancing themselves from Marcus and announcing his immediate termination. 3 major news outlets ran exposés on his pattern of financial and emotional abuse. The public apology came on the 4th day. Marcus, looking haggard and broken, stood in front of cameras and read from a prepared statement. I want to apologize to Amara Kong, formerly Amara Thompson, for the pain and suffering I caused her. I was selfish, cruel, and abusive. I stole from her, abandoned her when she needed me most, and physically assaulted her. There is no excuse for my behavior. I'm sorry to the other women I've hurt. I'm entering therapy to address my issues and will spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. He looked directly into the camera, and Amara knew Min Jun had scripted this part specifically. To Mr. Kong, I apologize for hurting your wife. I understand now the magnitude of my actions and accept full responsibility for the consequences. The video ended. Amara turned off her phone and looked at Min Jun, who was working on his laptop beside her on the couch. It's done, she asked. It's done. He closed the laptop. How do you feel? She considered this. Lighter. Like I've been carrying this weight for 3 years and finally put it down. Good. He pulled her into his arms. You never have to carry anything alone again. Whatever burdens you have, they're ours now. We shoulder them together. That's not fair to you. Love isn't about fairness. It's about choice. I choose you, Amara. Every day, every moment. I choose you. She kissed him, pouring 3 years of pain and healing and gratitude into it. I choose you too. That night, Min-jun took her to a private restaurant he owned in Gangnam. The entire place had been reserved just for them, candlelit and decorated with her favorite flowers, white roses and purple orchids. What's all this? She asked as he pulled out her chair. A celebration. Of what? You. Your strength. Your resilience. Your freedom from the past. He sat across from her, taking her hand. I know the last few days have been overwhelming. I wanted to give you something beautiful to remember instead. Dinner was exquisite, a fusion of Korean and Seoul food that somehow worked perfectly. They ate and talked and laughed, and Amara felt more herself than she had in days. After dessert, Min-jun stood and extended his hand. Dance with me. There's no music. He pulled out his phone, pressed play, and Adore You, by Harry Styles filled the restaurant. He'd been learning her favorite songs, building playlists that mixed her American tastes with Korean artists he loved. They swayed together in the candlelight, his arms around her waist, her head on his chest. Thank you, she whispered. For what? For loving me. For protecting me. For giving me a life I never imagined possible. Thank you for trusting me with your heart. He tilted her face up. Thank you for seeing past what I am to who I am. Thank you for choosing me. Always. He kissed her there in the candlelight, and Amara felt the last piece of her broken heart heal. Marcus had shattered her, but Min-jun had gathered every piece and put her back together with gold, making her more beautiful for having been broken. The music swelled, and they danced until midnight, wrapped in each other and the promise of tomorrow. 2 weeks later, on Christmas Eve, Amara received a notification from her bank. $127,000 had been deposited into her account, every cent Marcus had stolen, plus interest, plus compensation for pain and suffering. She stared at the number, remembering the girl who'd had $17 and a prayer. Who'd rebuilt herself from nothing. That girl felt like a lifetime ago. What will you do with it? Min-jun asked, reading over her shoulder. An idea had been forming for days. I want to start a foundation. For women who've been financially abused by partners. Help them get back on their feet. Provide resources, housing, job training, therapy. Everything I wish I'd had. Min-jun's smile was brilliant. I think that's perfect. I'll match whatever you put in and help you set it up. Min-jun, you don't have to. I want to. We'll call it. He considered, the Second Chances Foundation. Because everyone deserves a chance to rebuild. Amara's eyes filled with tears. You're amazing. I learned from the best. He pulled her close. Come on, we have a Christmas party to get to. That evening, Min-jun's penthouse filled with people, his business associates, her friends from the international school where she taught, even some of his crew members with their families. It was a strange mix of worlds, but somehow it worked. Keisha had flown in from the States, and spent the entire evening gawking at everything. Girl, she whispered to Amara in the kitchen. Your husband is fine and rich and obsessed with you and he destroyed your ex. You're living the fanfiction life. Amara laughed. It's pretty surreal. Surreal? Amara, 3 years ago you were sleeping in your car. Now you're married to the king of Seoul living in a penthouse that probably costs more than a small country. How did this even happen? I came to Korea to teach English. We met at a charity gala the school hosted. He bid an obscene amount of money for a date with me at the auction, and the rest is history. He bid on you. $50,000 for one dinner. Keisha's jaw dropped. I'm sorry, what? Min-jun appeared behind Amara, wrapping his arms around her waist. Best investment I ever made. Keisha fanned herself. And he's charming. Girl, if you ever get tired of him. She won't, Min-jun said confidently, kissing Amara's neck. The party continued late into the night. At midnight, Min-jun called for everyone's attention. Thank you all for coming, he said in English, then repeated in Korean. This year has been transformative for me. I found love, got married, and learned what it truly means to have something worth protecting beyond power and money. He looked at Amara, his eyes soft. My wife has taught me that strength isn't just about control or fear. It's about vulnerability, forgiveness, resilience. She survived things that would have broken most people and came out stronger. She's my inspiration and my anchor. He raised his glass. To Amara. To love. To second chances. And to the family we're building together. Merry Christmas. Everyone cheered, glasses clinking. Amara was crying again, but these were happy tears. Later, after everyone left and they were alone in their bedroom, Min-jun gave her his gift. A small velvet box. Inside was a necklace, a delicate gold chain with a pendant shaped like a phoenix rising from flames. You rose from the ashes of your old life, he said softly, fastening it around her neck. You're my phoenix. Beautiful, powerful, reborn. She touched the pendant, overwhelmed. I love it. I love you. I love you more. He produced another box. And I have one more thing. This box was larger. Inside was a leather portfolio. She opened it to find legal documents. What is this? The deed to a building in Itaewon. For your foundation. It's already been renovated and furnished. You can start helping women as soon as you're ready. Amara couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Min-jun, this is too much. It's not enough. It will never be enough to show you how much you mean to me. He cupped her face. You wanted to help women who've been where you were. Now you can. Turn your pain into purpose, my love. Change lives the way you changed mine. She kissed him through tears, thanking him wordlessly for seeing her, understanding her, empowering her. They made love slowly that night, savoring each other, celebrating how far they'd come and the future stretching ahead. As Amara lay in Min-jun's arms afterward, watching snow fall on Seoul through their bedroom windows, she thought about the journey that brought her here. The pain of betrayal. The darkness of loss. The slow climb back to herself. The unexpected love that changed everything. Marcus had tried to break her. Had taken everything and left her with nothing. But she'd survived. She'd rebuilt. She'd risen. And now she was here, in the arms of a man who would burn the world down to keep her safe, starting a foundation to help other women rise from their ashes. What are you thinking about? Min-jun murmured, half asleep. How grateful I am. For all of it. Even the bad parts, because they led me to you. I'm the grateful one. He tightened his arms around her. You gave me something I never thought I'd have. A home. Not a house or a penthouse, but a real home. A place I want to return to every night. A person who makes me want to be better. You are better. You're the best man I know. He laughed softly. I'm a criminal, my love. You're my criminal. And you have a good heart, even if you hide it under layers of intimidation and designer suits. Only for you. Everyone else gets the intimidation. She smiled against his chest. I can live with that. They drifted to sleep as Christmas morning dawned, two survivors who'd found each other against all odds, building a life from the ruins of their pasts. 3 months later, the Second Chances Foundation opened its doors. The building in Itaewon was beautiful, modern and welcoming, with housing for 20 women, job training facilities, therapy offices, and a childcare center. Amara stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Min-jun beside her, cameras flashing. "This foundation exists because I lived this experience," she said into the microphone. "I know what it's like to have nothing. To be abandoned by someone you trusted. To lose everything and wonder if you'll ever be whole again. But I also know that with support, resources, and belief in yourself, you can rise. You can rebuild. You can thrive." She looked at Min-jun. "I had to do it alone. But the women who come through these doors won't have to. We'll be here for every step of their journey." The first resident moved in that afternoon, a woman named Mina who'd been left homeless with 2 kids after her husband emptied their accounts and disappeared. Amara helped her unpack, sharing her own story, offering hope. "You really came back from all that?" Mina asked, tears streaming. "I did. And you will too. I promise." That night, Amara returned to the penthouse exhausted but fulfilled. Min-jun had dinner waiting. He'd been taking Korean cooking classes to surprise her and was actually getting good. "How was the first day?" he asked, setting bulgogi and banchan on the table. "Perfect. Overwhelming but perfect." She sat, accepting the food gratefully. "We already have 10 applications for the next month. We'll expand. Buy another building. Whatever you need. You've already given so much. And I'll give more. This is important, Amara. You're changing lives. That matters more than any business deal I could make." She reached across the table for his hand. "Have I told you today that you're amazing? Once or twice. But I never get tired of hearing it." They ate and talked about the foundation's future, about the women they'd help, about the life they were building together. Later, as they prepared for bed, Amara's phone buzzed. An email from an unknown address. She almost deleted it, but something made her open it. It was from Marcus. Her heart stopped. "What is it?" Min-jun asked, noticing her expression. "Marcus emailed me." His expression darkened. "What does it say?" She read it aloud. "Amara, I know I have no right to contact you. I know I don't deserve any response. But I saw the news about your foundation and I wanted to say I'm proud of you. You took the worst thing I ever did and turned it into something beautiful. That's who you always were, someone who found light in darkness. I'm sorry I was too selfish and broken to see it. I'm in therapy now, really trying to change. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know that you deserved better than me, and I'm glad you found it. I hope you're happy. You deserve all the happiness in the world. Marcus." Silence filled the room. "How do you feel?" Min-jun asked carefully. Amara thought about it. 3 months ago, seeing Marcus's name would have sent her into a panic. Now, reading his words, she felt nothing. No anger. No pain. No satisfaction. Just, nothing. "I feel free," she said finally. "Like that chapter is completely closed." "Do you want to respond?" "No. There's nothing to say. He's part of my past, and I'm focused on my future." She deleted the email and set down her phone. "Besides, I have everything I need right here." Min-jun pulled her into his arms, and she melted into his embrace. "I love you," he whispered. "My phoenix. My fighter. My everything. I love you too. My protector. My partner. My home." They stood there in their bedroom, the Seoul skyline glittering outside, holding each other and the future they were building. Amara had been broken. Abandoned. Destroyed. But she'd risen. And in rising, she'd found love, purpose, and a power she never knew she possessed, the power to transform pain into hope, not just for herself, but for every woman who'd walked through her foundation's doors. Marcus had kicked her in that mall, thinking she was still the broken woman he'd left behind. He couldn't have been more wrong. She was Amara Kong now. Wife to Seoul's underground king. Founder of a movement. A survivor who refused to let her story end in tragedy. And as Min Jun kissed her, deep and sweet and full of promise, she knew this was just the beginning. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more Afro-Korean romance stories, and comment below telling me what you thought about Amara and Min Jun's love story. What should our next story be about? Should we do more mafia romance? Forbidden love? Let me know in the comments. And to everyone celebrating, I wish you a beautiful holiday season filled with love and joy. Until next time, keep believing in second chances and the power of love to heal all wounds. See you in the next video.